So this just happened today. I didn't want to watch the stream because it was just a bunch of sad parents. But the Parkland school shooter was sentenced today. Life in prison without parole. For the Parkland school shooting. Some people wanted the death penalty. I understand the visceral emotional desire for the killer of someone you love, especially a child, for you to have them die. I get it. I am not comfortable with allowing the government to kill you. I am not comfortable with allowing the death penalty. Now, this prison sentence I'm all for. Prison is an interesting concept in lefty spaces. Parkland, Florida. As a person who is am I anti-government? I think the government should exist. I'm anti the way that we decide to organize this. Obviously, for-profit prisons, like the way that prisons in general just work is dog shit. Everyone in prison deserves a level of dignity, even if they are murderers and shit. Now, once you're you kill 17 people or you're a rapist or whatever, like there's a level of it where I don't really give a shit. But like, not everybody who's in prison is a monster, and that's a fact. Most people in prison are people of color that went because of shitty drug charges. Annie, thanks so much for everyone to Mistwitch. Isn't death penalty straight up more expensive than life sentence? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I don't care what's more expensive. It could be a billion times less expensive to murder somebody, like hang them in the public square, than it is to keep them life sentenced, and I still wouldn't be for the federal government taking them and killing them. That said, I totally get it if you want them to die. And it's not like I don't care. I just don't want the government to be in charge of it. I think that's fucking bad. I don't think you should give the federal government the ability to kill citizens, even if they deserve it. Anyway, he was Nicholas Cruz. He was sentenced to life in prison without possibility of parole for the 17 people he killed. Broward Circuit Judge Elizabeth Scherer imposed the statutory mandated sentence Wednesday, ordering Nicholas Cruz, 24, to serve a life sentence with no possibility of parole for each of the 17 counts of murder to which he had pleaded guilty, with the sentences to run consecutively. Additionally, Scherer opposed a sentence of life in prison with a minimum of 20 years to serve on 14 of the 17 counts of attempted murder and life without possibility of parole for the remaining 3 counts of attempted murder. All counts are to run consecutively. Which I think is, I mean, I know that that's like official, like legalese way to do it. Like, it's just so funny to me that we break it down and itemize it. Cruz was then ordered to be transferred to custody of Florida Department of Corrections. Before handing down the sentence, the judge addressed the victims' families, thanking them for the privilege of learning about each and every one of your loved ones. I can tell you that they will not be forgotten, blah, blah, blah. Of tragedy, porn, heartbreaking. This is why I didn't watch it, dude. Parkland students confront gunmen in court. This, I think, is more interesting. Again, I don't think I'm going to show the videos of it just because, I don't know if the kids were on the stream, but I just don't, I don't know. I'm not interested in the rubbernecking aspect of this. I find it to be cynical. Of those killed, 14 were students and 3 were staff members who perished. More deceased victims. What's next for the gunman? A lot is still unclear about what Cruz's future will look like. He'll be held in the Broward County custody before being handed over to Florida Department of Corrections and taken to one of several reception centers across the state. Does he have any supporters, by the way? He must. He must have some sickos. He must have some sickos in there. Now, here's the thing about the school shooter stuff. So are we just going to be like, if you're a Republican, I don't understand why you just want to be reactive to this stuff. And I don't understand the idea that more guns would prevent this. It's pretty clear that guns are dangerous. I think we all agree guns are dangerous. Like, that's the point of guns, is to be dangerous. They're for deterrence, and they're for hunting, and they're for, self-defense, and they're for leisure. Those are all fine reasons to have guns. I don't think mentally unwell 20-somethings, teenagers, should be having access to any firearm. Why don't we just simply have some checks, man? We don't have to sell certain weapons of war to these people. We don't have to give them access to certain kinds of like attachments for the weapons. We don't have to give them access to certain types of ammo. We don't have to give them access to certain calibers. I don't understand what's so hard about that. The gun lobby has you by the balls. It is cuck shit. It is cuck shit if you're a Republican. And and you are just like, you know what? Guns, more guns, more guns. I'm a leftist. I want you to have the freedom to have guns. I don't want to take your guns away explicitly. I want you to have guns for sure. Have them if you want them. The level of which that we have guns, though, I don't understand why you need the escalating, like, firepower. I mean, I do as a leftist. I don't as a Republican. Because as a Republican, you're like, oh, I need them for protection against the government. But then you go on and you give the government the ability to murder you, and you give the police military weapons to use against its own citizens. How are those two things not contradictory? How do you both arm your oppressor and then argue that they're not that? Because that's the people that you want to protect yourself from. Wild shit, man. Wild shit. Is there anybody in here that's pro death penalty? Is there anybody pro death penalty, federal death penalty? I understand it emotionally. I do not understand it in practice. Only for corporations. Federal corporation death penalty. Yes, but agree to disagree. How I agree to disagree. I can't agree to disagree. I just disagree. I don't agree to disagree. I think you're just wrong. I'm Cobbler's. No, silly Shinobi. Used to be pro death penalty until I had to do an assignment. Well, yeah, I mean, I just think it's not. Part of it is like, sure, what if they get it wrong? Really, what it is I don't want the state to be able to have that power at all. They just shouldn't have it. The state should not be able to decide that you cannot live any longer. That's as fundamental as it gets. Let the private sector decide. We could have corporate sponsors for death penalty. True. This execution brought to you by Pizza Hut. Individuals can never go back in society if you feel like it's a waste of prison resources. I don't care about the resources. We have enough resources for every person in this country to live a dignified life. I think that's only a good argument is like, and not even good argument. I think that argument makes sense only if you frame it in the American prison system. Like the way that the for-profit prison system works now, which is we have finite resources, everything's about the overhead, everything is about the bottom line. Sure. Absolutely. I also understand from an emotional perspective. If someone kills your kid, you want that person dead. Facts. True. Fine with that. I am fine with that person having that take because I think that makes sense. If someone killed Sarah, I would go John Wick. But that's not the state doing it. That's me doing it. The state doesn't have emotions. The state carrying out violence against its citizens is not a good situation. If we had a different system and I don't know, there's part of me, this is why the victim's family can't decide the sentencing exactly, because it's just an emotional response. And like some of these people, like this was a kid that just had mental problems. I'm not saying he's savable, he's a fucking monster. I'm just saying that in general, a lot of the people that do this kind of shit are under tremendous, like, imagine if this person had access to health care. Imagine this person had access to mental health care. Could this have just been prevented in general at the beginning? Imagine if this person didn't grow up, I don't know what his situation is, but didn't grow up under the pressures of capitalism and the pressures that family faced. Imagine if that family had access to healthcare, education, shelter, food, water. What does that change for everybody's material position here? I'm of the opinion, and I'm right, because we see this sociologically, it's something of upwards of like 90% of all crimes are crimes of necessity, meaning that they do something to make money or get food or something to serve their survival needs. It's like 90% of all crime. That is an indictment on the system. That is an indictment on capitalism. That is an indictment on America. I don't think everybody that is on death row is a monster. Some of them are, 100%. You know, like I don't know, the Dahmer shit that was going around. I mean, yeah, there's not really a redeemable thing there. There's no redeemable thing for the Parkland shooter either. I understand emotionally. Functionally, death penalty, can't get behind it.